Good evening, namaskar, adab, warm welcome to India's #1 digital simulcast. Tonight, folks, as we've done over the last 3 weeks or so, we're going to turn the gaze squarely on what is the challenge. What's the immediate challenge which is being confronted by the powers that be, by the authorities? We want to know today, on a day when the Prime Minister of the country has had a meeting with all chief ministers, and question being raised is whether lockdown 1.0, which led to 2.0, which led to 3.0, are we in for, well, some kind of an extension of this lockdown all the way till the month of May? Two very special guests joining me. Mona Desai is the president of Medical Association in Ahmedabad. She's joining us live. And Dhanya Rajendran, my colleague, is joining us live as well to give us an overview of exactly what is happening south of Vindhyas. I straight away, without wasting any time, and that's the beauty of Talk to Bhupen, that's the beauty of this format, is that we straight away attack the subject. It's a straight question which I have on my mind today, and I'm sure that all of you who have been watching this broadcast, who've been looking at our tweets through the day today, have been wondering about this question as well, that what has gone wrong with the city of Ahmedabad? Two simple points which need to be looked at. Point number one, what has gone wrong with the city of Ahmedabad? And point number two, what has gone wrong with the state of Tamil Nadu? Why is it that the city of Ahmedabad in Gujarat and the state of Tamil Nadu are today becoming the latest COVID-19 hotspots? The numbers, and on this platform, we always go by the numbers. I first quickly want to take you through what's happening in the city of Ahmedabad. Just imagine the kind of numbers that we're looking at. The numbers in the city of Ahmedabad itself will tell you that out of the total number of potential super spreaders, the story is so different today that it's looking like we were in a different scenario completely. Trouble which is mounting in Ahmedabad is mounting because of this reason. The authorities say that there is potential, and the operative word to be used here is potential, which means that you could have these numbers, these 14,000 potential super spreaders. It could be far more as well. Out of these 14,000 potential super spreaders in the city of Ahmedabad, how many have been identified? 334 of these super spreaders have been identified. So one question which is coming to my mind is exactly where have all these great super spreaders suddenly come from? Is it that we were underreporting all these individuals earlier? And what could be the reasons? Grocery stores in Ahmedabad, they've emerged as the latest hotspots for this coronavirus spread. The fact that 350 out of total of 472 fatalities that have been recorded in Gujarat, 350 have been recorded in the city of Ahmedabad itself. That means that you're looking at 75%. 75% is the total fatality rate, which is coming only and only out of the city of Ahmedabad for the state of Gujarat. So I want to first begin with you, Mona ji. As I look at Maharashtra and as I look at Gujarat and then Tamil Nadu, and I do a rough calculation of all the numbers, Maharashtra and Gujarat clearly now emerging on top of the list of these corona positive cases. So please explain to me, Mona ji, what has happened? What's gone wrong with the city of Ahmedabad?
Actually, when the first lockdown started, Ahmedabad was not in such a bad, or I would say it wasn't a red hotspot, right? It wasn't a red spot. And then slowly what happened, slowly people outside from Ahmedabad, they started coming in. Though there was a lockdown over here, we had a very relaxing schedule from 9 to 12 in the morning, and all the grocery stores and everything was open over there. And at that time, as you know, our public, they don't understand social distancing, wearing a mask and all. And I think that was the main culprit this time, because till now, till the last lockdown, till 12 o'clock in the morning, everything was open. The vegetable vendors were there, and there were a lot of people going out, buying groceries, vegetables. And now the latest news are that the medical stores, the people who are selling medicines, they are selling medicines without wearing any gloves or mask. And now so many people having medical stores have turned out to be positive. So they can also be spreading this coronavirus. So the problem was that people thought that till 12 o'clock everything is open. So though there was a lockdown, it was a partial lockdown. And I think that was the main culprit. Second thing, I think there is so much ignorance over here. People are so scared and panic of coronavirus. So they started, hiding their symptoms. So why there was more fatality rate, or I would say death rate over here, the problem was that the cases we got in the hospital came at a very late stage. And most of them, 80% of them were comorbid. Comorbid in the sense they had either uncontrolled diabetes, or maybe they had some heart problem, or they had I would say epilepsy, and they were immunocompromised. And there were so many things which they did not report to us. And so many times it has happened that the patient has died within half an hour of admission. So I personally feel that it is the ignorance of the people which has led to this high death rate. Otherwise, as such, if you see coronavirus, this virus is quite benign. The death rate is hardly 2%. So this has increased, this COVID death has increased because there was comorbidity. It can be possible that because of this comorbidity and because of the extreme age, that is above 65, most of them were senior citizens. In that case, this comorbidity has led to the death rather than corona. But as no autopsies could be done, we really don't know what the cause was. So every death was then counted as COVID.
Munaji, if I could put it this way, you're giving us a very honest and candid assessment of what went wrong with the city of Ahmedabad. Yes. Do I then take it that actually the authorities had no clue? I mean, the authorities went in for this reversal of lockdown without really trying to understand how bad the situation could be. Do I blame the citizens or do I blame the authorities?
I think both we have to blame, because the authorities thought that if given this little bit of relaxation, all the things which are necessary for the day-to-day living would be easier for these people to get it. And so, because now since last week, we are into complete lockdown. There is complete curfew. No shops are open except the medical stores. And you see that our rate is coming a little bit down. Secondly, I would say that in the hospitals also, the super specialists, the intensivists were not taken, and maybe the proper protocol was not going on. But now, since 10 days, we have got a proper protocol now. The intensivists are being asked for, and now there's a very nice, I would say, coordination between the anesthetist, the physician, and the intensivist. And that is why I think that rate has come down. And I think nowadays they have even changed the protocol of discharging the patient. So we had so many of them, they were COVID positive, but so many of them were symptom free. And we were admitting them, in the hospitals. So that was a burden to the government and the system. But I think that the newer protocol is on the third day, if the patient is symptom free, not getting any symptoms, not having any fever or something, they can be discharged without doing any COVID test. So I think that would decrease the burden.
That may decrease the burden, Monaji, that may decrease the burden, but I'm trying to understand whether in the process of decreasing this burden, who's playing with whose life. So I want to go bring in Dhanya Rajendran on this one. Dhanya, just like the city of Ahmedabad is the story of Tamil Nadu, specifically Chennai and various parts. I just want to play one short video, Dhanya, which was sent to me. And as I'm looking at all comments which are coming in on Facebook, where people are saying that why blame the citizens? Sudha Sadanand is there and she's saying, why blame the citizens? These kind of pictures, Dhanya, that we're seeing right now, from a railway station, where you suddenly have so many people who are all landing up in one go. What does this tell you, Dhanya? Is this an utter failure of the administration? Is this anxiety which is being expressed by citizens?
Well, I think as far as situation of people crowding at the railway stations go, I think there was a huge number at the central railway station in Chennai today morning. That's the failure of both the central government and the state governments. See, as far as migrant laborers are concerned, the center and states, most of the states have completely failed in communicating to them, in placating their concerns. There are lakhs of people who want to go back home. There are hardly 3 trains being arranged per day, and every train just 1,200 people go. So how are people being chosen? It's like a lottery. Everyone goes and registers at their nearest police station. The police stations decide who are the first 100 people who get a chance to be on that train. So it's like a lottery. People are worried. They have absolutely no clue as to how names are being chosen for who will be boarding those trains, which is why we are seeing crowds outside railway stations. And as we have seen in Assam, Bihar, and other states, people who are coming back from the states that they were working in, they are testing positive for COVID-19. In fact, I think last 2 days, Telangana has been saying that migrant laborers have been testing positive in camps. So this is a dangerous situation where people, for example, like a city like Chennai, which is a red zone. There are almost, I think, 3,000 cases in Chennai now. People are going
Right.
from that city to all the other places like Bihar, Jharkhand in these trains, and they're also crowding these stations because they are desperate. So, and the state governments too are not reaching out to these people and placating their concerns.
You're saying that you're saying the state governments are not reaching out to these people. Now, we saw what had happened in Surat a few days back, where suddenly a large bunch of people gathered. Before that, the same story had unfolded in Bandra, and across the country, these stories are coming out. Are you getting this information that when it specifically comes to the state of Tamil Nadu, is the problem of communication, or is it that simply put, the number of people who are all stuck is so huge, the administration just doesn't know how to deal with the scenario?
Of course, that's the problem. Like I said, at least in the 5 southern states, there's a huge number of migrant laborers. It runs into lakhs. In Bangalore city alone, there are around 2 lakh people, and of which 1 lakh are already registered to go back home. Imagine the number of trains needed to transport 1 lakh people home. And that's the equal number perhaps in a city like Chennai. So these people have to be told that you will have to wait for maybe 10 days, 20 days for the trains to be arranged. In the meanwhile, there is no food security for them. Wages are not being given by most companies who claim that they don't have money. They literally have to beg for food now. So what do these people do? They are concerned. They just want to get back home somehow. But in Chennai, of course, the bigger problem has been the vegetable market, which was kept open. It's called Coimbatore Market. It's one of the biggest markets in Asia for perishable goods, which is vegetables, flowers, fruits, etc. This market was kept open for many days, and now that cluster has spread so much. I think the last number given was 1,580 people from that cluster alone, but that number has grown quite significantly in the last 2 days. It could have even reached 1,800 or 2,000 by now. So the problem that Chennai was facing is that here's a big market, a wholesale market, from where people would buy vegetables to sell in retail. They would travel to at least 8 districts in Tamil Nadu. We have seen cases from this vegetable market popping up in Kerala, in Andhra Pradesh, and in other states to which also people travel. So this vegetable market is now turning out to be the bigger problem for Tamil Nadu.
So let's do a comparison. I'm now looking specifically, Danya, at how Kerala managed to deal with this problem. I'm trying to contextualize it in the context of what Monaji was pointing out, what Gujarat did not do. Now look at what Kerala has done. It decided to shut its education centers, entertainment centers, large gatherings even before the center gave these guidelines. We could argue that maybe the literacy levels in Kerala are far higher than in many parts of the country. It went in for aggressive contact tracing following the Nipah virus experience. Where do you think the Kerala story really stands out for the rest of the country to follow?
So I think 2 or 3 main points. First is that Kerala announced lockdown much before the center did. Uh, in fact, even Karnataka, I think a week or maybe a little bit before, a little bit after Kerala did, they too announced the lockdown. So these 2 states were announcing lockdown much before others did, which really creates a huge difference. And second is really the response from the community, from the people who live in the state. Now, Kerala has had 2 bitter experiences, especially with Nipah in 2018, where it spread across Kozhikode district, and there were around, I think, 19 or 20 people who died. So Kerala has that fear, and people in Kerala understand the importance of quarantine. And also, Kerala had this really bitter experience in the first week of April when a family came back from Italy and they did not tell anyone that they are from Italy, and they spread the disease to at least 8 others. So the kind of shock which Kerala received in the first week of April set the tone for the rest of the weeks, because people decided that quarantining is very important. They were also watchful of neighbors, people living in the community, whether they had come from abroad. The panchayats were involved. The local body administration is quite strong in Kerala, even in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So the local body administrations got into telling, I mean, all the states that I cover here, the local body administrations have gotten into the whole system really fast. But Kerala, of course, has a very well-oiled system wherein the health department has a call center which then coordinates with districts. The districts then coordinate with panchayats. So they have a very well-oiled system which is put into place as soon as something like this happens. Plus the community's response. They don't mind the quarantine. They know that they have food security, that if they do not have food, the state will deliver it to their homes. So there was no need for them to crowd anywhere. They were not wanting to go out to grocery shops, or they do not want to leave the state. So it's also boiling down to food security a lot, I think.
Is it about food security? I'm really intrigued by what Dhanya is pointing out, and then I'm looking at all the commentary which is going on Facebook and Twitter, where people are watching this broadcast, and everybody is simply saying, Ajoy Bose, Bhaskar Ghosh, Sudha Sadanand, everyone is watching this broadcast. A lot of former bureaucrats are asking this question, that it is the local administration perhaps which did not anticipate. And I want to bring you in, Monaji, on that one. Look at what Dhanya is saying.
Yes.
That the truth is that when it came to the southern states, Kerala was first of the block. Now here, what was happening in Gujarat, we were all doing Namaste Trump, and we were busy felicitating the American president. Now, I don't want to bring in, we're putting up the whole list of comments which are coming in across these different social media platforms. And I just want both of you to know that this is the only show which is being simulcast across all social platforms today in India. So the commentary which is taking place is really buzzing, and I want these comments to frankly drive this conversation. So Monaji, would you say that the fault really lies today with the Gujarat administration? There is no other way to couch this. There's no other way to state this very clearly.
You are quite right. See, in Kerala, it was the first case that came in Kerala. And what did they do? They had a 4-point program. They did testing. They then did tracing of that case, and then isolation, and then treatment. If we could have, every state could have followed that, testing, tracing. And as you very rightly said, that testing was low in Kerala, but it was very focused. And they traced the person from where did they come, how many people they met, and it was done so perfectly. And then they isolated the whole community, the people whom the family which came from outside, though they did not tell in the first place, but then later on it was known to everyone, and they isolated the whole community, and then the full treatment was given to them, and that restricted it. But here, what happens is, in other cities, I think the cases which started pouring in, maybe the government was little lax. They did the testing, but it wasn't so focused. The people who were hiding inside few of our red spots, they could not trace them. And I think it is a fault of our citizens also, because they were hiding those people there in their community. And now these spots are suffering like anything. And the whole Molla or whole, I would say.
Monaji, tell me, as a doctor, would you say that the worst, specifically in the city of Ahmedabad, and I'm being very focused here, is the worst still ahead of us in the city of Ahmedabad? Are you anticipating these numbers to be far higher? If the potential super spreaders are 14,000, are we to say that these numbers could really multiply very fast?
Yes. What I am expecting as a doctor and our whole medical fraternity, that once, if this lockdown, after 17th, if they stop this lockdown, they open up everything, and the trains are going to start now, as it has been said. the yards are going to start, and I think all the goods train and everything is going to start. If the bazaar and the markets are going to start, because they have to start now, because we also have to think about the economy of our country, of our city, and people are now, I think, more frustrated, but then we feel that with this super spreaders, I think it's going to go beyond our reach. But the best thing about corona at present is most of this corona positive patients are symptom free, and they become from positive to negative very fast. So I think it's time now for all of us not to panic. Start living with corona. We all are we had dengue fever, we had swine flu, Yes.
I take that point. We need to make our peace with corona, and corona is here to stay is a point which has been made on multiple occasions. But Danya, final comment from you. As far as this Prime Minister's video conference today with the state chief ministers was concerned, what is it that's being expressed by the chief ministers of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka? Are they in favor of reversal of this lockdown?
Well, all the states want economic activities to pick up because the states are facing the brunt of the fact that economic activity has had almost stopped for a couple of weeks, right? So they do want relaxations, especially in green zones and orange zones, considering all these states do have many districts which are in green and orange zones. There's also been talk whether red zones should be within districts itself. For example, Bangalore, where I stay, there are only around 4 or 5 wards where there are many COVID-19 cases. The other wards have been coronavirus free. So within a district itself, should there be demarcations where people are allowed to travel more, economic activities of all sorts can start in the green zones in the district itself. So these are things. And I've also been hearing from certain chief ministers' offices that they all, at least a few of them, have told the Prime Minister that they're concerned about restarting of trains. Now, what the chief ministers have told the Prime Minister is that as long as there is some relaxation within the state, they can manage. But if the train system starts and people start pouring into the states, and there is no way that the states can actually keep a tab of people coming in from other states and ensuring that they go into home quarantine. See, as of now, all the states are saying that anyone who's doing interstate travel, like they go from Andhra to Telangana, Telangana to Kerala, etc., they have to be in institutional quarantine. But that's a very small number of people who are taking their own cars and traveling from one state to another. The moment train services open, we are talking about huge numbers of people, traveling every day. So chief ministers are concerned that reopening train services right now may actually be detrimental.
Okay. Let's see we're there. Monaji and Danya, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that both of you remain safe and sound. Dr. Bhupen, this is the latest version of broadcasting away from TV studio, right in the comforts of your place. Straightforward data. Danya, what do you make out of this experiment, Danya?
Okay. I like that. I mean, and also nobody shouts.
Nobody shouts. Nobody shouts, and you get you get your chance. That's the beauty. That's what I really want to focus on. Reduce the shouting part, reduce the trivialities, and focus simply on the stuff that should really matter to the citizens. Thank you so much. I hope all of you stay safe, stay sound.
Thank you.
Back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. This show is available on all our social media streams. You can go and you can watch that. Good night. Goodbye.
Thank you.